Rabbi gave me a list of everyone that I should thank. He thanked all of them except one. So he left me with only with the Afrikaner, and that is to thank David Leibshur. It's really heartwarming to see so many of your light and so many friends of Yaldei BBQ, and it warms the heart because what they are doing. He spoke about everything. He left one activity that they do, and he didn't speak about it. And I want to speak about this one activity, and then I would like to say a few words about Yaldei itself. They make retreats for the parents of the special needs children. I happen to have been at a number of them. There's one in Florida, there's one here. And I have to tell you, the speakers that come are very inspirational. But what is more inspirational than anything is that when you walk into the dining room, for dinner, for lunch, there's not a big table where everybody sits. There is about 30 couples there, about 30 tables, and every husband and wife sits together, every shlich and shlucha. And you don't know what it means to be able to, when you have this privilege, that you're benched with a special needs child, and it takes up your time and it takes up your life, that Yaldei BBQ gives you the opportunity to sit and have a breakfast, lunch, and supper for 2 days with your wife, to go on a boat ride with her, and to spend time. And for this, just for this, everything else I'd say is, he spoke about the therapy and the counseling, and this counseling, and sibling counseling. It's the personal interaction that there is by the staff of Yaldei, by Sholi and by the Leib, with all of the parents of these special children, that really deserves our applause. And for that, they deserve all the credit in the world. There's one mission in Pirkei Avos, when the Rebbe spoke of Ches Nissen. He spoke that famous sikh where he said, "Ich gebe Sibbereich." I tried everything, and there were a number of groups that night, and suddenly there was those that said the Rebbe couldn't do it, he couldn't bring Mashiach, we're going to do it, and they went home. There were those that said it's all over. There were those that said the Rebbe couldn't do it, but we'll show him. The Rebbe showed us the following Shabbos that nobody knows what he's talking about. And the Rebbe took us by the hand. What did the Rebbe say the first Shabbos? And you could say by the Rebbe in this whole mitzvah Mashiach, which is our final mitzvah of preparing ourselves, preparing the world for Mashiach, it was only Shitasim. A certain attitude which the Rebbe took. The first Shabbos the Rebbe spoke, he said, what should you do? You should learn Pirkei Avos and be mechadish in Pirkei Avos. What is Pirkei Avos? Pirkei Avos is living a life of milud chasidus, living a Hasidic life, living beyond what you have to do. And the next week the Rebbe spoke about learning the Inyanim of Gula and Mashiach. What does it mean? The first is to prepare ourselves. We have to be prepared, and that is by living a life of the Chasidus. The next week was to prepare the world. So there's a Pirkei Avos which we learned this last week. There's one Mishnah that I believe wouldn't be written the way it was if there were no different circumstances. And let me tell you what I mean. There's a Mishnah that says like this: Arba midas biyodim, shali shalach, v'shalach shali. There's somebody that says, let's exchange places in life. You take my life, I'll take your life, I like yours better than mine. Let's change. Mishnah says he's an idiot. If anyone thinks somebody else's life is better than his, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Someone says, Shali, Shali, v'shalach, shalach. Hey, v'shali, Shali, v'shalach, shalach. His Mishnah says, Zu midas beinamis, v'yeshemrim zu midas lein. Someone that says, mine is mine, yours is yours, let's not mix. So, Magid Yemes say on this, if you come into a city and one person is saying this, it's a midah beinamis. V'yeshemrim, if the whole city is saying it, you're in Sedayim. Nobody's giving anyone anything. You're in Sedayim. Then he says, Shali shalach, for shalach, shalach is a chassid. And the Mishnah says, Shalach shali, v'shali shali, that is the opposite of a tzad tzarasha. What turns this person that says, what is mine, what is yours is mine, and what is mine, turns him into a rasha? A guy's a businessman. He has 100 stores. He wants to open another 100. He has to go into a territory where somebody else is doing. He's a businessman. He's a ruthless businessman. He's not a polite businessman. But to say he's a rasha, what turns him into a rasha? Because by the first three, he says the shali first. The rasha comes and says, what I have is secondary. The first thing is shalach shali. What you have, I want you to be mine. That is my primary concern. And that turns him into a rasha. I believe that if the Tana would have known about Yaldei BBQ, he would have said tzaddik. The people like Yaldei BBQ, the Vad, and Sholi, and David Leighton, and everyone, the backup staff, whatever it is, they come and they say, Shalach, your problem is shali. My problem is secondary to your problem. I live your problem every day. I live your problem I wake up with, but God blessed you with a child of special needs, a mitzuyan, somebody that needs care. Shalach, your problem is mine. Then secondary to that comes the shali shali. And I say that if this is a fifth midah b'yadam, somebody that takes somebody else's life and takes what he has to go through and turns it into his life, that is a tzaddik. And this is what Yaldei BBQ is about. And that is why they deserve your support, not what you gave, not what you're thinking of giving, but what they deserve is what you should be giving, is your life, to make your life part of their life, and to put their needs before anything else that you have. And that is why we are all here today, and that is why I am here today, and I'm so proud that Yaldei BBQ is part of Merkez Yaldei Chinuch, because what they have done, what the Vad has done, the care, the concern, the affection that they shower on each and every one of the parents is something that deserves not only support, deserves our Sheva V'Edoy, that in the day, we always talk is Shlichus HaMesiras Nefesh or Shlichus HaZchus. By the Frierdiker Rebbe today is Yud Beis Yud Gimel Tammuz, when he was threatened with a sentence of the opposite of life. The Frierdiker Rebbe sent out Shluchim, and the Rebbe said it in the Sikha. And it is known, he said the hardest thing that he had was, he sent out a Shliach, the Shliach was taken away never to be seen again. And the hardest thing the Rebbe and the Frierdiker Rebbe had to do was, the next day to send somebody to replace him. That is Mesiras Nefesh. There's a schus in being able to do things for Shlichus of the Rebbe. And that schus is the schus of those that are working in Yaldei BBQ. To say it's a Mesiras Nefesh, you can't say, compared to the Mesiras Nefesh of the Chassidim that were taken away in Tirza, and never to be seen, and the Shluchim that were sent away to Siberia, and Jews that were sent away just because they were Shemini Torah mitzvahs. That was Mesiras Nefesh. But I would say that these Yudgilite have a level of Mesiras Nefesh because they are doing for others what the others can't do for themselves many times. So I appeal to you tonight. Speech doesn't have to be long, but everybody paid when they came in. But I will tell you, it'll be a mitzvah. You don't have to necessarily take out your checkbook and triple and quadruple that which you gave. You could give cash also, they accept it. And they also take credit cards. But you don't know the mitzvah that you have when you see it. I hear it from parents of children, time and time again. It isn't the check that they receive from Yaldei. It's the way in which it is given. And the way in which it is given is what should be reciprocated tonight. The way they give, that's the way we should give. And I'll be the master. We support Yaldei in a very big way. I will up it by another $10,000 this year. Now it is my honor and privilege to introduce a shliach who, there's no such thing as a small Jew and there's no such thing as a small place. But there's a shliach that's the guest of honor tonight who didn't look to go to a major metropolitan area. For years before, he traveled to a small state called Montana. Went summer after summer, went back Hanukkah, went back time and again, and established a connection with the Jews of Montana. I could talk about his personal life, but I don't want to do to him what David Lake did to me, take away 3/4 of my speech. So I'm going to leave that alone. I will just tell you, in his shlichus life and in his personal life, he cares way beyond the call of duty, way beyond anything that anyone could imagine. I'm sure he'll share his story with you, but it's not my honor to present the guest of honor award to Rabbi Chaim Shaul Brook,